I've got the Mechanics and Genesis going flat out both at the moment. I managed to collide the two.
You're making albums?
I'm in the studio with Genesis at the moment. So if I arrived back in the afternoon with my arm or bits of me in plaster, I wouldn't be very popular.
You can't play this.
Great polo fan. Yes, I was very surprised to read that. It sort of somehow doesn't go with the image of being a rock musician, but you try and get away from all that, don't you, when you're at home?
Yeah, I mean, it's you know, it's a sort of 24-hour job doing what I do, so any break like that, and polo is a fantastic one for actually forgetting about everything but the game. I'm completely hooked.
Is it anything like Jilly Cooper's novel? Have you read
He
Jilly
doesn't know
Cooper's
because he's not
novel?
read it. I'm talking to him.
I tried to buy a copy at the airport, but they keep selling out.
It's very naughty.
I think, well, I don't think he's Dancer Maitland. There's a character in it called Dancer Maitland.
My wife's told me about him.
Yes, he's the rock star.
Well, I hope I'm not him.
I don't think you are.
No,
We won't go
otherwise you
through any
wouldn't be
more
married.
details. No. Now, I mean, you've been with Genesis and now Mike and the Mechanics, obviously, for a long time. You don't really still need to go on tour and to work, do you? Because you've all made quite a lot of money and you've all got these wonderful country houses.
Yeah, I mean, the most important thing to remember is that basically I'm paid for doing what I love doing. It's my hobby. I mean, I love writing music. That's where it all starts. And so Genesis now tend to record every sort of 3 or 4 years, and in between I still have music to write, and I want to write it. So the Mechanics started from that reason, really, and I still enjoy it.
But it's odd, isn't it? I mean, a lot of very good rock and pop groups will fade away and people will forget them if they don't make a lot of albums in a very short space of time. As you say, you do it, what, every 3 years or so with Genesis, and yet there's no problem. I mean, they move off the shelves like hotcakes. Now, why is that? Is it because of a loyalty in the audience that you've got?
I think that's part of it, I think, but at the end of the day, I think you've got to keep writing good music and good songs. Otherwise, I mean, yes, if the next album we put out was no good, they'd still buy it, but the one after that,
yes,
they wouldn't. I think the main thing is, hopefully our standard of songwriting in Genesis and the Mechanics is fairly high, and that's basically what I sort of work on the most, I think.
Do you think the days of the very long-lasting supergroup like Genesis are over? I mean, do you think that groups coming up now, these days, young musicians, are likely to sort of stand the test of time so much?
Well, it's an interesting question. I mean, at the moment, they're tending to come and go very quickly, which I think is a drag. I mean, companies sort of think of a hit today and then they get the next band up tomorrow. You know, the idea that you build a career over a long period of time seems to be going, which is a pity.
But that's something to do with the ethos of the groups, isn't it? I mean, even when they were relatively new, I mean, once you'd actually arrived on the scene and you were selling the records, Genesis and bands like Yes and Led Zeppelin, they all had a kind of charisma to them which told you that they would last. I mean, they were big supergroups. You know.
I think what it is you had a very sort of long apprenticeship. I mean, now you get a single away and suddenly you're up in the charts. In our days, nothing happened really with record sales for the first sort of 3 or 4 years. So I think when you build up to that, it tends to last longer.
Well, you've just released your new single. It's called A Time, a Place. Yes, and is there a storyline to this one, like there was with the Living Years?
Not so much. I mean, the idea is it's a kind of ballad. The idea that there's a time and a place for whatever it is, relationship in this case, and the time and place may or may not be now. It's slightly more sort of fatalistic that way.
Touch of karma, really. Okay, well, let's have a little look at that because we've got it. Nice to meet you, Mike, and the best.
Thank you very much.
And here's your video.